Hey y'all, what is up? Keasbey here, and today we're going to be looking at Purrely versus Dragon Link. As always, I'll break it down play by play as best I can, point out anything that I think I could have done better, and try to help you learn the do's and don'ts of playing the deck. But before we get into all that, don't forget to drop this video a like and subscribe to the channel for even more. Alright, let's go right into Game 1. Alright, so Game 1 versus Dragon Link. Our opponent has opened remarkably well to go first. They've got two extenders in Bestial Baldrake and Black Dragon Clap Serpent, plus they've got Quick Launch, plus they've opened Rocket Tracer, and if they had to go second, they had Dark Ruler and more. Really not too bad. Our hand is not as strong. Two Purrelys and a Purrely Lily is never what you want to see in the same hand. Three normal summons, not fun. And remember, the quick plays can only special summon out of the deck. So, yeah, not great there, but we've also got My Friend Purrely, so we've got a decent amount to do. Let's see where this goes. So, I don't really know what Dragon Link does now. I usually see them end on Boral and Hieratic Seal, which, while not a lot, isn't bad. It gives them a lot of recovery for using their on-our-turn interactions, plus they'll have field spells as well to use on the turn following. So yeah, it looks like that is exactly where this is going. There's the Guard Dragon Pisty. They're probably going to make, yep, there it is, Triple Burst. They're going to special summon back to a point both arrows point to, get the Boral End. Boral End is going to negate the Pisty to get a special summon, and boom, there it is. Alright, so we're going to draw Droll and Lockbird one turn too late off the top. Let's see if we can bait out some interactions. So something very important to keep in mind, Boral End Dragon does have to target, Hieratic Seal does not target. So we're going to normal summon Purrely here. Again, just baiting out any interaction before we commit to anything. Happy Memory, Triple Tack, and My Friend Purrely. So we're going to grab the Happy Memory. It's going to give us way more utility than a second My Friend Purrely, just to highlight what could happen with that. If we activate My Friend Purrely here and they shotgun the Hieratic Seal, absolutely fine. It bounces back to our hand. They get their summon, we just reactivate My Friend Purrely and proceed to pay 500 and use the effect. Remember, My Friend Purrely, not once per turn on activating the card itself, it's just the ignition effect on it to reveal and add to hand, that is. Alternatively, we activate My Friend Purrely, we pay the 500, then they use the bounce effect, which would be the correct thing for them to do if they want to prevent My Friend Purrely from going off. At which case, we do reactivate My Friend Purrely because we still have the recovery effect for later in the turn if we need it, but the pay 500, like I just mentioned, is a hard once per turn. So, all in all, no reason to grab that second My Friend Purrely, we'll just get more quick play spells. So we're going to activate it, and we're going to fire it off. Again, baiting interaction, but it will resolve. The replay doesn't show it, but we are going to reveal Pretty Memory, and Field Spell. So we'll end up getting the Field Spell. The Pretty Memories we wanted to potentially use to force the Hieratic Seal early if they did want to bounce something, because that would allow us, or it could also force the Boral End early, either or. We would basically just immediately use Purrely to attempt to go into Purely Beauty. If they don't respond with anything, then we immediately attempt to negate Hieratic Seal. And then it's just going to eat one of their two interactions, either Boral End activates, Hieratic Seal activates. Hieratic Seal activating to bounce the Purely Beauty would actually be best case scenario, because then we'd get the Pretty Memory back. But, you know, didn't work out that way. We got the Field Spell. And then if they didn't do anything in response to that, then they'll still get the summon off Hieratic Seal when they use the effect, but they won't be able to bounce anything. So we're going to fire off the Field Spell, and we are going to attempt to convert Purrely into something that can no longer be targeted, and it worked. There's the Happy Memory. We're going to fire off Happy Memory Chain Link 1. So slight misplay here. I don't even want to call it a misplay. It's just like a minor optimization that we could have done. We give the Destruction Protection to Purely Happiness. We really should have given it to one of these. There's just no reason to give it to Purely Happiness. We do know that our opponent's hand is Boot Sector Launch. We have full knowledge of everything going on, so there's really no threat to anything in the immediate besides what they might draw off the top, or what they could potentially search with Hieratic Seal. But let's just do this right every time. You should really give the protection to one of these. In this case, I would say give it to the Stray Purrely Street, maybe to get this to bait it to bounce it, and then we just reactivate it. But in this specific scenario, it's not super important because there's no destruction threat on field. But again, for next turn. So we aren't going to attach it to the Purely Happiness. Not really any reason to, and I'd rather have it in graveyard to make a second copy of Happiness with Purrely. So Purrely, we are going to grab the trap, our only remaining search target, and let's do it. Alright, so now our opponent's going to activate Hieratic Seal. They're going to bounce the Happiness. We'll get double recovery. Chainlink 1, straight Purrely Street. Again, this is mandatory. It's going to summon from deck. Chainlink 2, Hieratic Seal is going to go off to special summon. And Chainlink 3, My Friend Purrely, is going to give us back the quick play. Okay, so we are going to now activate Purrely. We're going to reveal My Friend, don't need it, Pretty Memory, perfect, and another triple tack, don't need it. So we are actually going to miss an OTK here, unfortunately. I'll explain in a moment. So we're going to go into Purrely Beauty. Our opponent is going to immediately use Borderland to wall up, then negate the Rocket Tracer. Again, they can't negate either of these because it has to target, and straight Purrely Street is preventing that since these were both special summon this turn. Okay, so what we should have done here immediately is gone Purrely Happy Memory, attach it to Purrely Beauty. We don't even need to summon at this point to throw the Black Metal Dragon into attack position. From there, we go to battle phase. We use Purrely Happiness's first effect, slam into the Rocket Tracer, grab Purrely Delicious Memory. So we have one additional attack here, 2 attacks here. Purrely Delicious Memory is going to boost her up to over 3k eventually, and we have forced the Black Metal Dragon into attack mode, and we can just slam in, slam in, slam in, slam in for game. We are going to miss that. We very much tunnel visioned onto making a Noir, but not a terrible play, but we could have won 1 turn sooner. So, Happy Memory, yep, should have attached it to Beauty. We did, however, this time, we are going to discard and spellman another Purrely just to try to get some more quick plays in rotation. We did give the protection to My Friend Purrely, so that is correct. Purrely is going to go off, and there's the Sleepy Memory. And again, we are going to miss another opportunity for the OTK. We should have immediately fired off the Sleepy Memory, attached it to Beauty, and thrown the Black Metal Dragon into attack mode, and then basically done the same thing. Ram in here, get Delicious Memory, attach it to Happiness, and while this is in attack mode, give it battle protection and go off. We'll be okay, but I just wanted to point that out. And again, our third opportunity to do that, we're going to miss it again. Also, because this doesn't target, we can have the attack of Purrely and Dragon, so we are going to be doing that a lot. We just give the battle protection to Beauty, and again, we just completely missed that OTK, and it's really bothering me, but I wanted to show this replay just to kind of like point out that Purrely Beauty is really good for helping set with the OTK. We're going to search, by the way, more Sleepy Memories and get in for a little more damage. So we're now going to fire off all 3 Sleepy Memories and attach them all to Beauty. So you may notice that we actually do have the setup for the draw 6 going on. We're going to opt not to use it. We're just going to immediately convert into a Noir after using that Purrely to attach that field spell from there to make sure it doesn't get any use. And there's our Noir. So the reason we're opting not to go for the draw 6 here is I want to retain the Purrely Yeep. Also, there's no way we're getting the draw 6, because on the first draw, our opponent could just Borderland the Beauty. We would have to convert with Purrely Yeep there in order to go ahead and get that initial draw, then we get 3 more. So, draw 3 instead of a draw 4, that's fine. We get to keep the Purrely Yeep for additional use during our opponent's turn. We have draw in hand already. We have a very strong Purrely Happiness. Again, this stat reduction is permanent, so that's not really a huge threat. And we know the entire contents of the hand from here. So it really comes down to whatever they draw off the top, and during the end phase, we'll just go ahead and attach 1 more Pretty Memory to the Noir. So we do have an 8 material Noir here, which means we have 1 free bounce, and the next bounce, because we detach the 2, it does drop us down to 4, so we can be interacted with at that point, but that's why we have the Purrely Yeep here to help with that. They did rip Chaos Dragon Levianeer off the top, remarkably strong, not going to help them a ton though. Ooh, nice. Ash, not as nice, and triple tack. So they are going to immediately negate the Purrely Happiness to get a Rocket Tracer on the field. And we'll just go ahead and bounce that Rocket Tracer right away. They're going to activate the effect of Rocket Tracer, and we'll fire off one of those Ash Blossoms that we drew. So really no threats at this point. Again, this still is 6 material, so it's got protection. This has already used the once per turn effect. So Chaos Dragon Levianeer. Because it doesn't target, I don't want to commit to anything right now. Like if we Purrely Yeep this into something else or this into something else, it would have the 5 material to survive if we made it a second Noir. But again, I would rather just save this for later on and let them destroy whatever they're going to destroy. So they are going to hit the Purrely Yeep, absolutely fine, and they're going to hit the field spell. So if they do clear one of these, we do still get a ton of recovery. Once again, the 2, we have the Droll, we have Ash for next turn, and we have a triple tactics talent. So we're going into the next turn remarkably strong. So we'll just immediately go ahead and bounce the Darkness Metal Dragon, and our opponent will concede. Let's take a look at game 2. So game 2, we are actually going first. I kind of made a guess and split the difference, and this one is going to be a lot more boring, but I kind of just wanted to show it off because it is something fun you can do out of the side deck. So we're going to fire Pretty Memory here, grab a Purrely Lily. We'll discard that Purrely Yeep because it's probably not going to come into play. We're going to activate My Friend Purrely here, use the effect, get a Purrely Sleepy Memory. By the way, we revealed 2 Sleepy Memories and a Delicious Memory. Activate the field spell here. We'll activate the Sleepy Memory, go for a Purrely, use the Purrely effect. We'll completely whiff off of it. We'll activate Purrely Lily to get the Sleepy Memory. And welcome to the game, E Purrely Noir. So E Purrely Noir is really nice because if we didn't have the Vanity's Fiend, let's say this was another quick play, it does guarantee us a Noir and 4 draws from there with this board state. During the end phase, we'll attach another Sleepy Memory to it. And then we would have whatever the other quick play we attached to it under there as well. Again, assuming that this was a quick play instead of being what it was. Oh, actually in this game state, it wouldn't have done that because we discarded the Purrely Yeep. So kind of the ideal situation from here. We're going to get 2 draws. Again, end phase, we'll attach another Sleepy Memory here. And Vanity's Fiend is preventing our opponent from special summoning. So not ideal. We do lose to like a singular copy of Imperm or Dark Ruin or more or anything like that, but is what it is. We're going to get our 2 draws. And fortunately for us, though, our opponent's whole hand consists of special summons. And also, unfortunately for our opponent, that is a Triple Tactics talent, not a Triple Tactics thrust. So because this went off in the standby phase, doesn't do anything. So they're going to set 3 impasse. During the end phase, we're going to go ahead and attach a Pretty Memory so we can start chewing through these back row. All right, we're going to go ahead, set that, and immediately use it as material to send to Graveyard to attach. We grab the Quick Launch there. And let's go to battle phase and poke in. We'll set the Imperm and pass, and during the end phase, we'll go ahead and attach another Sleepy Memory so we can get 3 draws on the next turn. Oof, Nibiru, unfortunate. So again, I know this is a much less explosive and kind of boring game, but I just wanted to show that this deck can shift into Vanity's Fiend control if it needs to, and it's remarkably good at it. Our opponent will pass, and we'll go ahead and just clear everything out and set up to win on the next turn. We'll get in with Vanity's Fiend one more time, set Imperm, set Jalm, and pass. And here we're going to attach Delicious Memory to set up for the game next turn. And we'll just go ahead, fire off the Happy Memory. By the way, with Delicious Memory, we would have given Vanity's Fiend protection, but we had to attach it with Purrely Stray Street. But the Happy Memory will go ahead and give Vanity's Fiend destruction protection, just in case they rip a Lightning Storm, but they do not. They'll go to the end phase, we'll just attach a Happy Memory, and our opponent asked us to kill them with the cat, and we will oblige. Okay, so you may be wondering, where does this OTK I keep talking about come in? Well, let's show it off in a really, really cool way right here. And we're just including this bonus game because, again, that round 2 is a little bit on the boring side. But, again, I feel like it's important to show that Vanity's Fiend control is absolutely something that this deck can do. Alright, so we have drawn a remarkably good hand for going second. We've got Droll and Lockbird. We've got Nibiru. We've got Infinite Impermanence. And our opponent has a lot of cards that search. So they're going to fire off Terraforming, add something to hand, and we are going to immediately draw, and they're going to pass. So unfortunately for us, this deck can't really OTK into an open board unless you have an insane setup, and I actually don't even think we get enough cards in hand to really do it. However, we can set up really, really well into an open board. I know I mentioned in the deck profile that like Droll and Lockbird is a little counterintuitive into this deck because we do want our opponent to have some sort of board for us to interact with in some way, getting the maximum use out of happiness or using beauty to attach stuff as material to get up to those noir levels of material. But something's going to happen in here that's going to change the course of the game. So we're going to fire off Purrely Lee. And we'll go ahead and fire off My Friend Purrely, activate the effect. So we revealed Sleepy, Sleepy, and Delicious. We missed the Delicious, but we'll fire off Happy Memory. We'll discard that Nibiru, and we'll activate Purrely. Nice, Happy Memory. All right, so we're going to do another double happiness board here. The reason we're doing double happiness is we want to get a search for both the field spell and the trap. We could have also gone into E Purrely Noir as well and gotten the trap that way by attaching something as material, but this is just additional damage. So we're going to attempt to poke in. Our opponent is going to summon that Bestial Magma in attack position, and they have just handed us the game. Comment below if you know how we're going to get to game from here. I'm going to pause for like 2 seconds while you do that. Okay, that's enough time. So let's do it. We're going to ram Purrely Happiness into that Bestial Magnemite, and we are going to trigger both the Purrely Happiness after battle effect to grab a delicious memory, and the My Friend Purrely to go ahead and get that happy memory back from the graveyard. Unfortunately, because this effect happened in the graveyard, happy memory is no longer attached as a material, so we don't get to have the attack of Magnemite, but that is perfectly fine. And here is the OTK. We are going to fire off Purrely Delicious Memory. We're going to go Chainlink to Purrely Happiness to attach it as a material. And we are going to make Bestial Magnemite unable to be destroyed by battle. We're going to fire off Happy Memory preemptively here to attach it as material and boost her attack up just that little bit extra before we start getting in. And from here, it is just attack, attack, attack. So we're going to have the attack after the search. We're going to fire off the Happy Memory for our final of 3 attachments, boosting her up to 3,500, and we'll just give My Friend Purrely more protection. And yeah, from here we just keep attacking, keep adding. We're going to go ahead and add the field spell, and we'll add the trap. It's not like there is going to be another turn, but always good to just act like there's going to be another turn. And that is it for game. Alright, so that has been a showcase of Purrely in action. I think it went really, really well. That first game versus Dragon Link I thought was a lot of fun, and it showed off a lot of what this deck can do. We did miss the OTK, but in missing the OTK I got to show off a little bit of extra stuff and talk a little bit about some play optimizations with Purrely Yeep and different things you can do with it. But again, it was important that I mentioned that we did miss the OTK there because we kind of spaced out on the fact that Beauty can force a battle position swap. That second game, again, I know, a little bit boring, but I think it was important to show that this deck works really, really well with Vanity's Fiend. Even if you can't necessarily get to a Noir, we had so much recovery if something happened, and Vanity's Fiend just put in so much work that game. And in all fairness to our opponent, they just drew the worst possible hand to go into that. And that bonus game, well, I talk about the OTK so much, I had to show it in action, and it was just really fun because our opponent kind of gave us the setup for it. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop it a like and subscribe to the channel for even more, and I will catch you all later.